It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman, and I'm going to try to match the enthusiasm and the energy. Paul Gallant this morning. Wow, what an energetic broadcaster he is. Looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to spend a few minutes on the air with him at the end of his show. He's always got great topics. He's done a lot of sports broadcasting as well, out of the Houston area now, so we're looking forward to that, and I enjoyed his show. I hope that you did, too. The Vince Show's coming your way at 11 o'clock. We got a great hour packed up for you right now. This is going to be good, including Harrison Butker at the White House today. The Chiefs have one day off in St. Joe, no practice, and Harrison Butker will be at the White House. More on that in just a moment. Also, Josh Hawley in the crosshairs with Donald J. Trump. Never a good place to be if you have aspirations to be more than just a senator from the great state of Missouri. And El Toro Loco Mexican restaurants in Kansas City yesterday, raided by Homeland Security investigations. One of those was about 3 blocks from my house. I'm very familiar with it. And on the way home from the radio show yesterday, I stopped by there and got video and posted it on X. I'll go into more detail on this later. Eventually, the crazy protesters would show up, and the news crews would come out because the protesters were there. And the Kansas City media, shockingly, got this story completely wrong. Provably 100% false with facts. Not just the way they guided the story. We will teach you today. We'll have a little education class on how the left alters the news that you consume to try to win elections for themselves. It's what they do. We start with CNN reporting this morning that Donald J. Trump is going to have an executive order signing at the White House later today. This will not be the biggest story of the day, but it maybe is the biggest story of the day in Kansas City because it involves Harrison Butker. We've all seen Trump sit down in the Oval Office and have his signings of executive orders. And today, it's been reported by CNN. Again, I haven't confirmed these facts. CNN has reported that Donald Trump will bring back the presidential test for physical fitness in all schools across the country. Do you remember taking this when you were a kid? And when did this test end? Who would have stopped this? I can't even imagine. Okay, how did it end? Who stopped it? I'm going to learn all that at some point today. We may learn. I'm sure Trump will have some comments on this. But as he signs this as a presidential order, executive order, to bring back the presidential physical fitness test, he's bringing in his favorite athletes to stand right there with him. And Harrison Butker is one of them. And when everything went down with Benedictine College last year and the speech that he gave, Jessica was just so thrilled. She loves Harrison Butker, and we know people that got Butker jerseys, and she loves wearing the 7 jersey and loves Harrison Butker. And he's getting more and more fans because of his stances on things that are in agreement with the overwhelming majority of NFL fans and football fans. Liberals don't like football. They want to stop football. They want you to think your child is going to die, you're going to get CTE, the crazy guy that went into the NFL offices this week, that's all football's fault. We can't just have normal crazy. Only crazy people out there is because they played football at some point. This is what they do. This is how they try to manipulate what people think and alter things that we love, especially things that are uniquely American. And we could say cheeseburgers, hot dogs. There's a lot of things we could say. Pickup trucks are uniquely American. But we may not have anything as uniquely American anymore as football, our football. They're starting to play it elsewhere. Baseball was America's pastime, and it was uniquely American, but it's globalized now. It's taken on all over the world because it's relatively easy to play. You get a few balls, everybody gets a glove and a bat, and you're good to go. You find a field and you play. Football is a totally different deal. Requires a lot of equipment, a lot of instruction, a lot of practice, a lot of coaching. It's not a one-on-one game. And it is uniquely American. It has not been exported to a lot of places around the world. They know of it. They see it. But like so many things in America, it's harder to replicate. And I just thought it would be really cool. I'm not a jersey guy. I'm not sure grown men should wear jerseys of somebody else to the game. But if you did, and you put something else on the back of the jersey other than Mahomes or Kelsey or Butker or whatever, I think that would be okay. Like if I got a 15 Chiefs jersey and put KKHI on it, which stands for my podcast, Kevin Keatsman Has Issues, It's my promo code with all my sponsors. I think KKHI is jargon with all the podcast folks that listen to my podcast. KKHI, it's just over and over and over. If I put that on a jersey, that's better than me wearing a Mahomes jersey. But I'm thinking if I were going to wear a Chiefs jersey, it would be the 7 jersey, and I would just go ahead and put on the back of it MAGA and see what happens at a Chiefs game. I'll bet you 50 people would slap me on the back and give me thumbs up. I'll bet if you walked through Arrowhead with a Butker jersey that said MAGA instead of Butker, all day long, people would give you a thumbs up, especially if maybe you put a red Make America Great Again hat on. You're all decked out in red for a Chiefs game. Butker is reportedly going to be at Trump's side as he signs this executive order for our kids to get fit again, to have a fitness test in school. Bryson DeChambeau, the U.S. Open champion from 2024, will be there, according to reports. And maybe even Lawrence Taylor, who I'm guessing is one of Trump's all-time favorite athletes from the New York Giants. There will probably be others. This is common sense stuff. It's crazy we're 6 months in. He signed about 8,000 executive orders at this point, and he keeps coming up with things that every week you go, oh, well, that's a good idea. Why don't we have the presidential fitness test in schools? And this is beautiful. This is part of changing our system of education. What I'm guessing, I'm throwing a dart. I've done no research here. I'm guessing the left didn't like the presidential fitness test because they thought it was not fair. It's keeping score. If we're going to play games, we shouldn't keep score. It's keeping score, which they don't like. And the other thing is, if this ended like, let's say, during George W. Bush, which would also maybe be my guess, they did it right after Bush. They're like, we don't want to give these certificates out to all these kids if we have another 12-year run of Republican presidents, where an entire generation of kids grows up in school and got a certificate of achievement signed by the Republican president that they've kept on the wall in their room their whole time while growing up. But I remember seeing those things and how cool they were. I didn't think about the politics of them in the day, but they do now because kids are starting out on phones at age 8 and they're seeing the same stuff we're seeing. It's everywhere. There's no guarding it. They're growing up faster. They're learning more about news, information, politics, America, the world, Palestine, sex changes, you name it. The kids are learning it. Well, if they're learning it all, what a great idea. Shouldn't we have a fitness test and physical education classes at federally funded schools across the country where if you pass, you get a seal or a certificate from the President of the United States? I think it's a fantastic idea. And another very simple thing that Donald Trump's doing, man, he's playing a long game. He's re-implementing all these things that have worked in America in the past, saying if they worked in the past, they're going to work again. Josh Hawley is in trouble with Donald Trump. Hawley voted with the Democrats to push through committee on, I think, a 7-6 vote, the Pelosi Act, which he's co-sponsoring. The Pelosi Act is a slam at Nancy Pelosi. It's, you can't stock trade if you're in Congress. That's what it's about. You can't buy individual stocks because Pelosi's gotten rich doing this with insider trading. Everybody knows it. She got into a tiff with Jake Tapper. I think Gallant played that a little bit earlier today on CNN. And she said, well, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Medicaid being 60 years old and the anniversary. And Tapper's like, yeah, well, this is the thing. You're in the crosshairs here of the Pelosi Act, so let's talk about this, which was cool. And she hem-hawed around it, and then she slammed Donald Trump for inciting a man to come into their home and whack her husband over the head with a hammer. This is how politics work in America today. But the Pelosi Act sounds good on the surface, and it sounds like something Republicans want to do, and they want to keep the Nancy Pelosi's of the world from getting rich. When it came down to it, there's some sort of provision in this thing that keeps anything from happening until after 2028. And what Trump wants more than anything, more than the act to be passed, although I think he's on board with the act, he won't say that yet, is he wants Pelosi investigated. And apparently, I don't know the in and out of this thing, but because it's delayed until after 2028, they believe this is giving Pelosi a free pass on any investigation. And so he basically sided with the Democrats. So as that happens, Trump decides he's going to take to social media and he's going to light up Josh Hawley. And he lit Josh Hawley up good. Why would one Republican Senator, Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri, join with all the Democrats to block a review sponsored by Senator Rick Scott and with support of almost all other Republicans of Nancy Pelosi's stock trading over the last 25 years. The information was inappropriately released just minutes before the vote, very much like sabotage. The Democrats, because of our tremendous achievements and success, have been trying to target me for a long period of time, and they're using Josh Hawley, who I got elected twice, as a pawn to help them. I wonder why Hawley would pass a bill that Nancy Pelosi is in absolute love with. He's playing right into the dirty hands of the Democrats. It's a great bill for her and her husband, but so bad for our country. I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who's been an unprecedented success, targeted because of the whims of some second-tier senator named Josh Hawley. Yikes. We commented yesterday that Pete's teaching me a little bit about Josh Hawley. I'm here. I'm always here for Mundo. Pete's been telling me to keep my eyes open, that Josh Hawley's going to surprise you with a lot of things. He's trying to play some sort of a center lane, be a Mitt Romney or a John McCain, apparently, and think somewhere down the road that might serve him well in a primary to become the presidential nominee. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar if Donald Trump has called you the second-tier senator, you are not going to be even a factor in a presidential race in a primary in 2028. Trump's going to guide that primary. Whoever's best in Trump's favor in 2028 is going to be the man, and likely the next president. Because when Trump succeeds, the next Republican up will succeed. It looks like Josh Hawley is throwing that completely down the drain. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. Don't be afraid to call the show. Many of you come up to me in public and say, I kind of want to call your show, but I'm a little nervous about it. No nervous. Just calling somebody on the phone. There you go. We're going to the phone lines. 913-408-7957. Our man Steven is up first today. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Steve, what's going on, man?
Just living the dream here, buddy. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear our local Missouri girl, Sophie Cunningham, sticking up for Caitlin Clark. I thought that was great this morning. I heard that. It just kind of proves all the liberals have left is social issues, and they're going to – it looks like this is sort of the listening from the morning, listening to mornings, all the morning shows that they're going to try and run. They have no power. They have no power in the judiciary or the government or the House. So they're going to Shanghai the culture and try and turn the culture war against, which I think we're winning. Yeah, we're winning still. But
we're winning like never before. They've lost the culture war. That's over. That's the worst mistake they can make. What they need to do if they really want to do something is find some issues that Americans support that Republicans are against and go out and speak about those. But they don't have any issues like that.
Yeah, well, that was ironically that was kind of the point I was gonna make with the Sidney Sweeney thing, or just pick one. Hakeem Jeffries has said that he's worried that if Mamdani runs and wins, that they will automatically lose the House. So, I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, I just can't understand their terrible pick of issues. They're picking an issue. They're getting testimony. Still trying to. The Senate wants to get testimony on an issue that could boomerang on Bill Clinton, which is the Epstein case. I mean, maybe there is no issue. Maybe they're all 80-20 where they can't. I'm not rooting for them. I think it's
no, I know. The one that they have had forever that is in their favor is abortion, and it always frightens me because if they can make the Republicans, seem out of this world crazy, there'll never be another abortion. Nobody can ever have one, even if it's 1 month in or whatever. It can't be done. When they were able to do that, they were able to win a lot of elections in Kansas, for one, but they win congressional seats and things like that. Here's the problem. What they were winning off of was Trump returning this thing to the states. What has happened now is Americans are starting to understand this is a states issue and not a federal issue. And as that happens, they're not going to be able to federalize that. They're not going to be able to go and say, I'm voting for Congress, I'm voting for Senate, I'm voting for the president. Abortion is not really a factor. It is a states' rights issue. And as every day that goes by, It's becoming learned and more ingrained in our society that this is an issue of the state, not of the federal government, and that helps Republicans too. They're going to. The Democrats are in the long game. The Democrats are going to lose the abortion play at the federal level because it's just going to belong to the states.
I think something has changed. I think it's either Greg Gutfeld or Victor Davis Hanson or somebody said that once people realized that they could take Joe Biden and prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's, this was sort of a sea change like the Berlin Wall following. If you noticed, the Democratic pollsters, the polling has been going down like 3 points every few months and has never recovered. That people have realized that if they would prop up Joe Biden, basically a comatose guy, and program him with their aims, that they could do anything.
They got their 4 years.
Support it.
Yeah, they got their 4 years, and they did things. They did a lot of damaging things. They did a lot of big things, and it almost worked. And thank you for the call, Stephen. It almost worked. If they'd gotten reelected or gotten Kamala in, it probably would have worked. There were so many people flooding into this country, and it was such a sea change, and they were manipulating the census, and illegals were voting, and we had all of this scam stuff going on. It almost worked. I think we'll look back I'll be dead, but in 50 years, we'll look back and go, boy, that was close. But America woke up, and it took something just like that. Here's Mike in Olathe on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, hey, I didn't realize this, or maybe you did, but basically, I think the state of Kansas passed something where I don't know the proper terminology, but like if you're affiliated with a state, I don't want to name any names, but it was passed that you can't use pronouns now in your email.
Right. Now, I don't know about the actual state jobs. What this is as I understand it, is the Board of Regents over the university system was getting threatened to have all of the federal funding pulled by the Trump administration if they did not remove everything DEI related. So this is no different than Harvard and all these other schools you're hearing about. So the Kansas Board of Regents issued a memo to every school in the state that said you cannot use pronouns. We're getting rid of DEI offices, and all this stuff must be scrubbed. Now, nobody thought much of that other than, will the University of Kansas fight this? KU's extremely liberal, and there was a lot of people thinking out there that they would fight it. But Doug Girard, the chancellor of the university, last week sent an email out to all staff that told them they had until today, July 31st, to scrub their pronouns from every email, everything they have. It said if you still have business cards, you can use those until we supply you with new ones that don't have pronouns on them, and you're not allowed to use them anymore. So I think Kansas was the last remaining domino. The other schools had long ago adopted this.
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but without naming names, it's happening. And I think, to your point, I think, if you have to wear badge or if you wear badges, I think you can. But I wasn't even aware of it. But it's actually, it's taking place because today somebody I know is they're scrubbing the whole thing.
And you know what? And it's really simple. This is a great call because I should have done more of this on the show earlier. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. I always appreciate you calling in. The best part is a lot of professors and people at KU are really, really, really complaining. Quit. Go find another job. If that's what makes you happy at your work is your pronouns, it's time for you to get out. Next, how the Kansas City media blew it yesterday on KCMO. So there's been a lot of fallout the last few days over this Sydney Sweeney ad for American Eagle, and Donald Trump has chimed in on that, saying that it's a awesome patriotic name for a company and nothing's more American than advertising jeans, and Sydney Sweeney is beautiful and talented and all that. Not to be outdone, Duncan has done it now. And I think you heard Paul Gallant maybe an hour ago or a little longer. He played the spot. I'm not going to play the spot for you because you can't see the guy. The words of the spot are okay, but the dude that's in this commercial for Duncan, this is like a cooler. It's a drink. It's called, the young man's name is Gavin Castellano. I hope I'm saying that right. He's on a show called The Year I Became Pretty or something like that. I don't know which streaming service that's on. But it's about his tan and how genetics led him to be able to have this beautiful tan. He said, I didn't choose to be the king of summer. They just told me I am. And this golden summer, I have this great tan because of my genetics. And every time I sip on a golden hour refresher, which is the name of the drink at Dunkin', I feel like the sun's just shining on me and tanning me more. It's a summer ad. It's a drink that dudes probably don't drink. And I'll just say this at the risk of, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I feel comfortable enough in my own skin to say this. I can say this comfortably. This is one hot, sexy young man. Now, Mark has just recorded that, and it will be a drop forever. Every time Pete Mundo mentions Keatsman Uncanceled, it will be, he is hot, one sexy man. That's what it will be. I'm going to get burned on that. You know as a broadcaster when you're going to get burned for saying something.
Whenever they say Hollywood Van Sickle, I'm going to use it. That is one hot, sexy man.
One hot, sexy man, and he is. He's sitting by the pool. He's got, like trunks on, and this linen shirt that's open button to the very bottom. You can see his chest. And he's talking to the camera, saying all these things, and he walks over to a lounge chair where he's got this drink, and he sits back, and he just relaxes. And this is also going to get me in trouble with a lot of folks. He's way better looking than Sydney Sweeney. Like, I get that Sydney Sweeney, a lot of people think she's hot and all that, and she's sexy, and she's done basically soft porn, right? I mean, isn't her show on HBO, and she's just like naked all the time?
Maybe not all the time, but there's definitely some scenes.
Yeah, there's some scenes. So that's how she became very famous. It's not because she's so pretty. She's an attractive woman, but you wouldn't look at her and go, "Oh, look at that woman's face. She's a model." That's not what you do with Sydney Sweeney. This dude, he's all over. He's got everything. He's got everything, and it's literally about genetics, not genes, not Geans like jeans you wear. It's about genetics, genes. I get this tan because of my genetics. I'm telling you, this thing just came out, and he's referred to as the king of summer in this golden hour refresher in golden summer in the golden age of Trump. I'm confused as to what this is. Are they piling on the Sydney Sweeney train, saying we're going to do the genetics thing? Are they saying we're on the Trump train because we're going to go with golden? There's nothing more synonymous with Donald Trump than golden. Like, he loves gold in all his buildings. He loves the value of gold. He's calling this the golden age. I mean, this thing is just filled with American guy is cool. Young, hot, American, sexy guy by the pool is cool. In the golden age, in the golden summer, having a golden hour refresher. This is going to make their heads explode. I can't wait. I hope they do. I'll be so sad if they don't. Take the bait from Duncan. Please take the bait on the left. We want you to take the bait and make a big deal out of it. His name is Gavin Castellano, I think is how you say his last name. And he is he's the it guy right now for all the young ladies. And they're clearly selling these golden hour refreshers to the young ladies. They won't be selling tacos and burritos today at El Toro Loco, I don't think. They lost a lot of staff yesterday. 11 of them were hauled off. 2 locations, the Legends and Lenexa, where I live. Very near my house. On the way home, I mentioned to Mark before I left, my wife works at a place a couple days a week right next to this restaurant, and she saw what was going on and said, Homeland Security's here. I said, I'll swing by and take a look. I took some pictures. I took some videos. I posted them on X. It was fun. It was kind of cool being there. I thanked many of the HSI guys for being there, appreciated the work that they were doing, didn't want to get too close, didn't want to interfere. I saw a woman in a car with another lady that they were videotaping, I guess hoping or just in case something went wrong. They had video protection. They clearly were crying because one of their loved ones or friends was on this curb, this sidewalk, where 5 of them were being apprehended at once. This was in plain view behind the restaurant back in the alley area, but there's a road that drives by there. You can see it very easily from your car. And this is all going down, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And a man comes out from one of the businesses next door and spots me and says, I went over and talked to him a little while ago to ask what's going on. He said, this isn't ICE, this is HSI. This is Homeland Security Investigations. And they're investigating the owners of this business. And they've raided the other one as well. They're at both locations right now. And they're investigating the people that run the business. Now, this could be a wide variety of things. It could be they could be doing gambling in there or drugs or cartel related or human trafficking, or the latest running around, at least with the people that we talk to, is like indentured servitude. You're in trouble with the wrong people in, let's say, Mexico. So you have to go to Kansas City and work for 2 years for them to pay your debt that you owe here. That apparently happens a lot. Does that sound like slave labor? If that's what this was, HSI was doing the Lord's work. They were helping these people get out of a spot that they need out of. And yes, they may wind up deporting them if they committed a crime, but they may not. If they got sent, remember, we're deporting criminal illegals at this point. If these people did something bad in a home country and got sent here, and there's no record of any wrongdoing here, and they're just working here like either cheap labor, free labor, slave labor, whatever you want to call it, to pay off a debt that they have at home, they're not getting deported. They're going to get a chance to stay. If that's what was going on there, I think they're grabbing these people saying, we want to know who the ringleaders are that are sending people here to pay off debts in other countries for you basically to come here and be a slave. You got to go work for 6 months or 18 months or 2 years or whatever it is to pay your debt before you can go back home. If that what was going on there, that means the owners of the restaurant are involved in that. There's no other way to do it. That means they're not putting them in payroll. They're not in the books. They're not paying taxes. They're not doing any of these things. This is Homeland Security investigations. There's 275 offices worldwide. If you go to their website as part of Homeland Security, it says they are on the lookout for criminal activity globally that affects American citizens' safety and security. Well, that's exactly what this would be. This is more white-collar crime, if you will, but the real criminals would be the one not paying the employees to be here to work off some problem that they had in their home country. So, yes, I watched a woman weep on the phone, sitting on a park bench as she parked her car. I saw a young man hauled off in a car with a couple of HSI agents. And then I went on my merry way. I went home to do a patron podcast, did some work, cut a little grass. And then I got a couple photos for my wife, who's up there at the place next door. And she's taking pictures out the window. And she goes, the freak show's arrived. And it did, in a big way. Any leftist cause you can think of showed up in anger because they hate Trump. There was Free Palestine. There were abortion signs. And most of them were ICE. And then the news media shows up because we've got a gathering of people now. And so here comes Channel 5 and others. And they all got it wrong and called it an ICE raid. There was not one ICE agent on the scene, which means they didn't know if there was a criminal, illegal alien in there. What they believed and what they were investigating was something like there may be illegals working in there that might not be getting paid and taken care of and paying taxes to the government through the proper channels. We're going after the business, not the people that are working there. If you ask me, they were doing these people a favor, if that's what was going on, which I don't know 100%. But the way the media distorted this story was amazing. Channel 5's live shot said the only people they had to talk to were protesters. If I'd have stayed there, I would have said, hey, whoa, over here. I'll tell you what's really going on here. I could tell you about this place. It's been there 3 years, and we don't know how it stayed open because it never has customers. Everybody that lives there goes to different Mexican restaurants, not because it's unsafe. It's not that good. Service isn't that great. My wife once ordered a skinny margarita in the bar, and the bartender didn't speak English and didn't know what a skinny margarita was. That's not a real Mexican restaurant. There's something else going on there. There's something other than Mexican food at El Toro Loco. No local media mentioned that. Kansas City Star isn't going to touch that. Channel 5 in their live shot literally said, they had a witness go, they didn't handle this very well. It was Bush League. This is a dangerous situation. They had them out back with the door open and there were burners on in the kitchen. Yeah, well, this place has got to have at least 15 employees in there. And they had 5 of them out back. And Channel 5's story literally was about there could have been a burner on in the kitchen after Homeland Security took some chefs out of the kitchen, people out of the kitchen. This whole place could have burned down and other people could have been hurt. That's what they turned the story into. They never want to tell the real story. if you just ask questions and you looked a little deeper, you might be able to use just a little common sense and say, wait a second, where were the ICE agents? Where was the raid? Were these people child traffickers? Were they rapists? Were they violent criminals? I don't think there were any of those there. I don't think there was a single one. There may have been a traffic violation or some sort of misdemeanor charge or something somewhere. Open container in public. I don't know. No, ICE wasn't there. This wasn't Colorado Springs. We're going into the nightclub and we're hauling 87 people out that are all rapists and murderers and drug traffickers. That's not what this was. This was something illegal's going on with this restaurant and the people that own and operate it. And we're coming in to investigate. They had an order to go investigate it, and they hauled, between the two restaurants, 11 people off. If I were to bet right now, I'll bet none of the 11 get deported. What I was looking at, the 5 that I saw outside were very low-level young employees. There is no chance those people were running the place. They went in and got the lowest part of the food chain, separated them from everyone else, and by the way, there were all kinds of HSI people inside and the business was closed. The doors were locked. I went right up to the door, and there were 4 agents standing right in front of the front door. Like, we're going to watch the front door here. I mean, right? That's what you're going to do. And they're watching the back door, and there's agents inside. There were 5 or 6 agents outside. My guess is there would have been at least 15 agents there total, but it might have been more than that. You don't know because they all drive their regular cars, and they're plainclothed, and when they get in their car, they put their HSI stuff on, and then they get out. But they just have regular cars. You don't know who they are. You could run into a Quick Trip and not know you're next to an HSI agent. It was really cool watching them work. And if you ask me, it was flawless. There was no panic. It was never dangerous. The people that were being talked to and apprehended did not seem upset. Really, in any way. They didn't feel endangered. It looked like they were cooperating. Happy to do so? I don't know. When they put the guy that I saw walk out, in a cop car, they have the back seat's a cage. It's almost like its own jail. They put this dude in the front seat with the driver, and the second agent got in the back seat. Like I've never seen. Have you ever seen that? You apprehended somebody and put him in the front seat next to the driver, and the other agent sits in the back? That was strange to me. Maybe that's protocol. I thought it was nice. I thought, well, they're being nice to this. They're clearly not afraid of this guy. It felt like one of those scenes like at the end of The Fugitive where they're getting him in the car and they like him so much. As soon as they get him in, they'll take the cuffs off. Like, we're okay with you. We just want to talk to you. This was not some violent apprehension. And our news media across the board, the TV channels, the Kansas City Star, and everyone just utterly and completely whiffed on this story because they didn't want to know. They just wanted to repeat what they think and put it into their story. It's what they do. And it was really, really sad. All right, here's Alan in Lenexa. Hi, Alan. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Kevin?
Great, thank you.
Hey, I think it's a little bit even more problematic. The media knows this. I mean, they reported it. Like I said, it was, I don't know, it was first of the year, maybe late last year. This isn't the first time that place has been raided for this. That they were raided, it's like 6 to 8 months ago. I remember seeing it in the news. So it's not like they don't know there's a problem there.
I'm not going to argue that with you. You could be right. I remember a Mexican restaurant being hit 6 to 8 months ago that was in the Northland, but I don't remember El Toro Loco. But I'm not saying you're wrong.
I remember El Toro Loco because, we're Lenexa residents. We've been there, and we've been to the one over at Legends before concerts.
Okay.
And, El Toro Loco's been hit before, so it's kind of where there's a smoke, there's fire thing.
Yeah, they're doing something wrong. The people that own and operate the place are doing something wrong. Did you ever ask yourself when you were in there, how does this place stay open?
The one in Lenexa, yeah, definitely.
Right. And so
the one over in Legends,
pretty busy.
It was because it was before a concert.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting a fair amount of traffic. But the one in Lenexa, I have no idea.
We ask it every time. We were like, what other business are they running in here to keep this place open and do this? So it was
right.
One of those deals. So I'm proud of them, man. I thought they did a great job yesterday. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the call.
Thanks.
All right, great. There you go. El Toro Loco. All right, Hollywood, here we go. How's your week going, okay? You ready for the weekend? You going to rest up a little bit or what? You've been busy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
You don't need rest?
I'll get rest when I need it.
I think it comes with fatherhood. You know, all kids do is keep you from sleeping, and then you're prepared for when they're gone because you can't sleep.
Yeah.
When you're older, you just can't sleep as much.
I try to take a nap when the baby takes a nap sometimes.
One of those things. My wife just texted me, and she said last year that the cops came to El Toro Loco and served some sort of warrant or notice for not paying employees overtime. And they had to
not very nice of them.
Go to court or do whatever. And I don't think anybody was arrested or hauled out, but she said she remembers that. It wasn't nearly as big a news. That's correct. This was Homeland Security, and it was a raid. There's no question about it. A raid and an investigation. And thank God they're doing it, man. If anybody is listening to this show ever, and you're working with Homeland Security, really all service people, first responders, all of you, military, the whole thing. But right now, with so much focus on ICE, Homeland Security, and everything, thank you for the work that you're doing. It was very impressive watching them work yesterday. They were so good at what they did. I was completely and utterly impressed. All right, Mark, fast answer here. Who's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
Yep.
Brian Schottenheimer.
I knew he was a former Seahawks coach,
from
right?
Coordinator from Blue Valley High School.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he went to KU for a bit, I think, and then went to Florida. Does that sound right?
Sounds.
Marty's son. He clearly was in college football to become a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And I wrote a newsletter to my patrons on Saturday. I do a weekly newsletter about how training camp has changed. It's not the same. And because it used to be really physical and there was fights and all this cool stuff would happen. And then lo and behold, we get Simmons, the new left tackle, starts a fight at Chiefs camp.
Yeah.
The next day, apparently the Cowboys have been doing nothing but fighting, which Marty had a lot of. So Schottenheimer yesterday did something that I've never heard of before in the NFL. He stopped practice. He lined them up and said, everybody's running. I'm tired of the fighting. They got a couple of guys hurt. No more fighting. We're going to run. And he made several of his assistant coaches run with him because they didn't stop their guys from fighting.
That's awesome.
Brian Schottenheimer's got assistant coaches running wind sprints at practice for not coaching well enough.
Maybe I was kind of skeptical about that hire for the Cowboys, but maybe that's going to work.
I think I know this about Brian, and my wife knows him pretty well. They went to high school together. I think I know this. I think he recognizes this is my only shot. I'm never going to get a chance to be another head coach anywhere else. I'm going to do this my way, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I have no regrets. I cannot believe that the Dallas Cowboys coach is down there in front of fans running his players and some assistant coaches through wind sprints. This is a sign that he's either going to be really, really great at this or it is not going to work.
And everybody's just going to hate him.
It's going to be a revolution against him. Do you ever watch MTV?
I used to, yeah.
You know what it stands for, right? The M?
Music television.
Music television. I saw a post today. Happy birthday to music television. Thanks for 14 years of music. It's their 43rd birthday. 43 great years of music television. Thanks for 14 years of music. We started watching the Billy Joel biography last night on HBO. You seen this?
Not yet. I've heard about it.
Are you going to watch it?
I want to.
It's good. It's pretty good. It starts way, way back, but it's, as most of them have, he's had quite a life. That's it for Uncanceled on KCMO. The Vince Show is coming up next. Have a great day, everyone.